Hi, this is Trent with Blue Falcon LLC or Blue Falcon Training. I wanted to talk to you today, a very important topic, especially about guns and weapon safety. One of the most important things and the greatest fundamentals you can have is following the weapon safety rules. These are sometimes they have different variations or worded differently. Some people say there's 3, 4, 5. There's 5 you typically want to follow, probably in this order. The first one being treat every weapon as if it were loaded. If you walk up into any situation where there is a gun involved, you need to anticipate that gun is more than likely loaded. Assuming that the weapon is always loaded, there's no real surprises with that, unless you pull the trigger, which you wouldn't really want to do. Later on, when I'm feeling a little bit better, I'm going to be doing a video on clearing a weapon, which is the movements you go through when actually coming into contact or physical contact with a weapon or a gun. I'm trying to say gun because weapon, calling a gun a weapon it's making it identify as something that's a negative thing. A hammer could be a weapon unless it's used as a tool. If it's used to hurt someone, it would be, a tool. I'm sorry, a weapon. Anyways, so trying to get used to adjusting, calling firearms guns instead of weapons. So anyways, yeah, the class on, or the video I should say, on weapons clearing, it'll follow. Not feeling great. I just wanted to get one of these videos out here. It's something very, very important. Something I'm very passionate about. Any gun enthusiast or people that are around, guns a lot, follow these rules or should follow these rules. Basically, the first thing you're going to do, any situation you come into contact with a weapon or a gun, we'll just use the scenario that the gun is, you're going to, say, a pawn shop, and you say, ooh, I want to see that gun. So they take the gun out, and what they're going to do is they're going to clear it themselves. What that means, they're going to visually inspect that there are no rounds in that weapon. The best thing for you to do in any situation, in every situation, is to go ahead and clear that weapon yourself. Never trust the other person successfully cleared the weapon. Make sure you do it yourself as well. Nothing bad against the other person. You just want to make sure to verify with your own eyes that the weapon is cleared. Again, that's going to minimize a lot of issues. So rule number 1, make sure that you treat every weapon as if it were loaded. Even after clearing the weapon, if you have a cleared weapon in your hand, you should still follow all of the safety rules. So number 1 being, make sure your weapon, assume every weapon is loaded. The next one's going to be keep your fingers straight and off the trigger. Unless you're about to fire the weapon or gun, unless you're about to shoot that gun, there's no reason why your fingers should be on the trigger in any scenario except for one, which you can do in a controlled environment, and it's going to be more of a more advanced shooter most likely, and they're going to want to feel what that trigger pull feels like. Every gun is different. It's going to have a different trigger pull. I don't want to get too far into it, but the amount of pounds per pressure that you have for a successful triggering the mechanism, which is the hammer, making the hammer fall on the round. So, more advanced gun enthusiasts would probably want to know or feel exactly what the trigger pull or the reset would feel like. But other than that, just do not put your finger on the trigger, ever. Always keep it straight. Finger straight and off the trigger is the same. It's very easy, and it's also very helpful for some of the other weapon safety rules, which is don't point at anything you do not intend to shoot. Having that, and I'll show you here, having your finger straighten off the trigger, it's kind of helpful to have a guide. You're kind of pointing at where the round may go as it's alongside and parallel to the barrel. So you're gonna wanna make sure that you anticipate that the weapon is loaded. Keep your finger straight off the trigger until you're ready to fire, which if you're checking out a weapon or a gun at a gun store, you're not gonna be ready to fire unless they've got a range, but just keep your finger off of that trigger. There's so many times people will pick it up and automatically put their finger through that trigger guard and there's no reason for it. It's absolutely unnecessary. I can't recall any time I've actually picked up a weapon that way. It doesn't make much sense. It's very dangerous. Accidents happen. You see these videos of people screwing around with guns in their car. There was one most recently. She was talking crap on live and filming this, and tragic event. And pointed it at her boyfriend or friend's head. He said, "No, stop doing that. Stop doing that." And she did it again, pulled the trigger, shot him in the head right on camera. It was terrible. There was absolutely no reason for it. There's no reason to play around with guns. They're not something that are made for entertainment. They're not an accessory. Well, they are, but you should never be in a situation where you're in a vehicle and your gun is laying out in the open, loaded, and obviously have no idea what you're doing with firearms. This is how mistakes are made. So we've gone to treat every weapon as if it were loaded. Keep your finger straight off the trigger until you're ready to fire. Keep your weapon pointed in a safe direction at all times. Don't point at anything you do not intend to shoot. Keep your weapon on safe until you're ready to fire. Usually the safety mechanism is right by your thumb when you have your hand around the pistol grip. It's very, very easy to just go ahead and right when you're adjusting and you're ready, flip that safety off and then pull the trigger. Some of these weapons I've seen now, they don't actually have a safety mechanism, which isn't great, but some of the weapons I really enjoy firing, a lot of them have no safety on them. And I have children, so I have to take that extra step and be precautious of where my weapon is, making sure I know it's secured and locked up so that they can't get to it at all. And then that's one of those safety rules that you'll see come on and off. I don't know why there would actually be no safety on pistols, but there are many pistols out there without safeties. But if you do have a safety, keep the safety on. There's no point in, it's there. It is mechanical. Also, I wanted to point out things do break or things do go wrong. Sometimes it's a machine. Sometimes machines don't function the way they're supposed to. And the mechanism can break. They emphasize that a lot in the NRA pistol instructor classes, that safety can break. I've never experienced this, and these are people that have been dealing with guns and have been teaching classes about weapon safety before I've even been born. So I'm pretty sure there's a reason why they say that. It's like the ridiculous rules in the Marine Corps. Don't drink Cobra blood. That's a rule that exists because somebody's done it. So I'm assuming there's been a few malfunctions over the years for them to say that. And that one doesn't always pop up on the weapon safety rules, but we do want to go and if it applies, apply it. There's no reason not to. If it's there, it's there for you to use. Just make sure you use it and you're being safe. So we have